How much do you want to pay for the NFL and college football season? You decide how much you want to save. Right now, WagerTalk is offering their lowest price for the 2021 NFL and college football seasons. From now through the start of the regular season, we are offering special early bird pricing, but these prices will increase by $20 per sport and $30 for the college football and NFL combo every week until the season kicks off. Save up to $200 this week by buying your favorite WagerTalk capper for the package, and remember, the longer you wait, the less you save.
Welcome, everybody, to Wager Talk Today. I am Lawrence Presman, that man, Steve Merril. It's July 20th. It's Tuesday. It's $2 Tuesday. We'll get deep into that a little later. I am the $2 Tuesday handicapper over at Wager Talk. Ronald Cabang over at SportsMemo. We're excited to have him coming on shortly. He's going to look at the Baltimore Orioles game and the NBA game. And Steve, we got some pen today, dude. Ralph Michaels joining us. We're going to talk early college football. Ain't so early. I mean, my God, 5-6 weeks away. And we have a Dave Sharapan sighting, which is very exciting. He's been traveling for the last ever, but he's back. Steve, I lost my play last night. All my braggadociousness bit me in the tuchus. But that's okay. I got it out of the way. Today, right. I take my 18-4 run into Tuesday. I also have it's a 5% play, and Merril, my 5% plays, man, 21-9, last 30 and 66% since December 19th, December 2019. So check that out. How did you do last night? Big game breakdown went really well, hey?
Yeah, actually, it's good to talk about because, thousands of people see this show every day. I give out a free game, which I clearly said was just a bit outside from being a best bet. I treated it as a 1% to 2% opinion, and that was on the Blue Jays, and they did not come through. They got blown out. But guess what? The 4% best bet I had last night on WagerTalk.com was about as easy as they get. I had the over 10.5 in the Mets-Reds game, a mere 26 runs, 7 runs in the first inning, 10 runs in the first 2 innings. Yet everyone focuses on the free play that we missed here in the show instead. So
it's not
again, big picture takeaway, right? Big picture, long-term investment in a nutshell right there.
Steve, there's a reason things are free and you pay for things. I mean, if people want to get mad at the sample in front of the shop before they go through the menu, well, what can you do, bro? Did you get any takeaways, anything you learned last night in the wonderful world of sports betting?
Yes, actually, both those games I just talked about actually do kind of coincide to the takeaway. Scoring is up. We see that every year in the summer months. The hot dog days of summer, baseball scoring goes up a little bit. There's a few reasons. I mean, first of all, scientifically speaking, the ball travels better in warm weather. But the other reasons as well. I mean, the hitters get their groove. They're usually a little cold out of the gate in April. Pitchers have an edge early on. Once these rotations see guys multiple times, not only are the hitters more familiar with them, but the teams have notes on them as well. And pitchers also start to wear down a little bit after several months. So scoring is normally up. But, of course, the big elephant in the room this year has been the spin rate debacle, the sticky stuff. They started cracking down on that about a month ago. And we have seen spin rates go down and scoring goes up even more. And last night was a textbook example of that. We talked about that Red Sox Blue Jay game, two of the best offensive teams in baseball. Yes, Toronto got blown out. They still put up 4 runs, about average. Boston put up 13, though. I referenced the easy over slugfest best bet I had on the Mets Reds, 26 runs for my clients. Washington Nationals, one of the weaker offensive teams this season, 18 runs, an 18-1 win over Miami. The scoring is up, and we just see some of these real one-off performances. And don't forget the Blue Jays one day earlier on Sunday, as I mentioned in the big game breakdown, it put up 15 runs in just 14 innings in 2 games against Texas. So definitely something to keep an eye on. It's kind of hard to play unders right now because some of these teams are just exploding. We, of course, saw the Padres the first day after the All-Star break on Friday, 24 runs against the Nationals. Definitely something that's caught my eye. Keep in mind, Prez, just a month or two ago, historical lows in offense in 150 years for baseball. So there's no doubt something has definitely changed in the past month.
Yeah, and I mean, Steve, you could literally handpick, one game every day. I think a couple of days ago we had a 22 spot on the board, and obviously we've seen that year in, year out, but not like this. 22 runs shocked us. Now it's just part and parcel of the 18 runs and the 21 runs. I mean, every night somebody is going off. And yeah, look, I play a lot of totals, Steve. I'm on an 18-4 baseball run, and in that 22 play stretch, I would probably say 4 of them are totals. I don't think I've played a total in weeks. You're just, you're getting a great pitcher, pitches a gem till the 7th inning, and then the bullpen comes in and 9 runs is put on the board. So it is tough. But that's why guys like Dave Koken and whatnot are betting half game bets, 5-inning bets. Anyway, we got such a big show today. We got to bring Ronald Bang in and get going. Ronald did not get the memo that only I get to wear orange on the show. So Ronald, welcome to Wager Talk Today. It's a privilege to have you. You can be found at SportsMemo. And you are the $2 Tuesday. So why don't you tell us about that?
Yeah. So I'm doing the NBA game on the side. I'm on an 8-1 NBA run in the playoffs. I'm actually the top NBA capper in SportsMemo. So that's one thing that I wanted to add. But yeah, so that's going to be my $2 Tuesday play on the side.
Ronald Cabang, everyone, and I'm going to read off some streaks for Ronald, but first I just want to make mention. Steve, I got a couple of guys in the chat room. Mark Stokes, it might be time to fade the Prez. And then another guy said the same thing. Listen, I'm good with that. So long as you buy my play so that you can fade it, we're in the same, but I'm okay. Go fade my plays. Here we go, Ronald. 69.6% in all sports for almost a month. That's 3.5 weeks at close to 70%. 26-12 last 38 NBA games. 67% in baseball in the last 5 weeks. And on and on and on, man. Just outstanding stuff. And this isn't abnormal. I've been watching you from afar, and I remember 4 or 5 months ago at the start of the NBA season, if I recall, you laid down like a absurd 27 and something run, like just a ridiculous run. So congratulations.
Yeah, it was definitely a good run. Yeah, thank you, man. Actually, I do a lot of like trend betting. So that was one thing that I've had for me the last few years. So I just kind of continue to develop my trends and systems over time. And it's really gotten me into a good place.
Excellent stuff. Big shout out to our newest favorite person, Kate Wilson. Tipped us yesterday, tipped us today. Thank you, Kate. Really greatly appreciated. Guys, you can get Ronald Cabang's play tonight for $2 over at SportsMemo. Ronald, Baltimore, Tampa Bay. The total of this game is 8. Steve and I just spoke about the fact that it's really tough to bet unders in this game. Do you have the balls?
Yeah. Well, I think it's gone down to 7.5 since yesterday. But a few trends that I brought up in this game is John Means. I mean, obviously he's coming back from injury, but he was a beast before getting hurt. And with the Orioles as underdogs, and when John Means starts, they're actually 7-0 to the under in those games. And he gave up a total of 6 runs with 46 strikeouts in about 45 and 2/3 innings. The thing that does scare me, though, is coming back from injury. But I think he can fare well against the Rays. He did give up 4 runs to the Rays earlier this season, but I feel like it's sort of like a revenge game for him. After he gave up 3 runs to the Mariners, he basically shut them out in 9 innings. So I think this is going to be something similar for John Means today.
And Ronald, I was going to ask you, when you're looking at unders here, I know we talked about Dave Koken earlier with the Prez, said Dave plays a lot of first 5 unders. I've even heard him say with this bullpen uncertainty now, he won't even play full games under. What's your take on first 5 versus full game in this game and maybe just in general with your handicapping?
Yeah, well, for this game specifically, I think first 5 is a smart bet just because the Orioles bullpen, they're not that strong. And John Means also, he just came off of 3 rehab starts. I think his last outing had 74 pitches. I think he's gonna hit around like 85 pitches or so. So I don't think he's gonna go deep into the game. So first 5 actually is something that probably you would look into in this one.
Ronald Cabang, everybody. Ronald, let's talk NBA tonight. Game 6, 65% chance it ends tonight based on the Oddsmakers line. Learned that from Steve Merril on Twitter. How you betting this one, man?
Well, I do have that $2 Tuesday play on the side, so I'll talk about the over under. I do like the under in this game. So far in the postseason, the Suns are 5-1 to the under as away dogs, and also the Bucks. They do a really good job as home favorites following games that they went over. So they make adjustments to play better defense. I mean, since the 2018 postseason, they're 8-0 to the under as home favorites after their previous matchup went over, including 3-0 this year. And one of those games was against the Suns earlier in this series. 222 is the highest total we've seen in this series as well. So I think, I think some of the numbers just point to the under for me.
And Ronald, before we let you go, I know you don't want to give away that side. It's your big $2 best bet at sportsmemo.com. I'll ask you quickly, any player props? Do you mess with the player props? Are there any play against guys for you for this series? We obviously have seen huge adjustments in the MVP odds. Chris Paul was a heavy favorite, really tanked it in Game 4. Now Giannis, obviously, with the Bucks in the driver's seat's a heavy favorite. Any thoughts on player props going forward?
I think one thing that I think someone brought up actually on WagerTalk today was the Pat Connaughton over 1.5 threes. I think he's been hitting that prop the last 7 games or so. So I think that's one prop to look into. But as far as like MVP race and all that, I think the prices really got too high at this moment, just because it's late in the game.
Ronald Cabang, everybody. Ronald, what you go under the name YouCapper?
Yeah, YouCapper. Yeah.
What's wrong with Ronald Cabang?
Well, I think YouCapper came out of like a business idea that I had a long time ago, and that didn't really pan out. And that name just stuck with me because I started in Reddit, went on a huge 16-0 run in college football, or I think it was actually higher than that. And people started to follow that name, so I just stuck with it into the whole gambling Twitter.
Well, I love it, man. And one thing is clear, listening to you and having this conversation is when you are hot, I mean, you are freaking hot.
Yes, sir.
I mean, Steve and I are lucky to lay down a 25-5 run once every couple of years. It seems to me like that's a regular occurrence in the life of YouCapper Cabang.
Oh man, no. I think once you get reading the board really well and you get on that groove, you just get real focused.
Excellent stuff, Ronald Cabang, everybody. Ron, thanks for joining us, guys. Check him out over at SportsMemo. $2 Tuesday, currently on an 8-1 run in the NBA playoffs. Just absolutely in the zone. And Ron, thanks so much for joining us, man. Guys, we're going to take a 2-second break, and then we're coming back. Steve Merrill's Big Game Breakdown, Ralph Michaels College Football, Dave Sharapan, the Penalty Box segment. This show has literally just begun.
Tuesdays is known as $2 Tuesdays at WagerTalk.com and SportsMemo.com, where you can get the hottest handicappers' best bet or daily package for only $2.
time for a little big game breakdown here on Wager Talk Today for Tuesday night, July the 20th. Going to return to the well here. We're going to look at a game that was just a bit outside for making the cut for Tuesday night. Hey, last night we took a look at the Toronto Blue Jays. That's a game I was considering. I gave it out as a free opinion. It did not work out. 13-4 loss for the Blue Jays. We're going to come right back to the well tonight, though, with Toronto. And I like the pitching situation here tonight with Hatch on the mound. And we'll see how this works out for him. Now, if Hatch doesn't go, it's still an action play with Merril. We've seen a couple different listed starters here for Toronto, but they're still in good offensive current form. I think the Blue Jays are worth a look, minus 130. Over 11.5, a big total, I think is also worth a look in this game with two red-hot offensive teams. You know, I mentioned earlier this week that when we came back from the All-Star break on Friday, that the top 5 offensive teams on OPS, offensive on-base plus sluggage, very good overall metric for offensive power. Those teams went 5-0 on Friday night out of the gate. Both the Blue Jays and the Red Sox are two of those winners. These are two of the best offensive teams in baseball this year. I know Toronto is the best home offensive team. They play in these minor league parks. They get a bump. They will be returning to Toronto next week, but they're still top 5 in both batting average and slugging on the road this year. And Boston also top 5 overall in all those metrics. So look for high-scoring game tonight, 11.5. And I like Toronto to bounce back. I know they were off on Monday night. This is still a team, though, that put up 15 runs in just 14 innings in 2 games on Sunday. They're still in excellent current form. And the Red Sox right now, going into this game, at least what we're seeing as a projected starter here. Of course, this stuff can always change in the dog days of summer. We're seeing Richards, though, Garrett Richards on the mound against most likely Hatch, who's making his first start. I think that's a nice little edge for Toronto. Red Sox hitters are not familiar with them. And with Richards on the mound tonight, I look for him to struggle. Not good numbers at all this season. Garrett Richards, a 1.68 whip, 4.91 ERA. Those Toronto bats get back on track tonight. Take a look at the Toronto Blue Jays, minus $1.30. We'll play this one action. I'd also lean 11.5 to the over with these two offensive, strong offensive teams. That goes Tuesday night, 7 p.m. Eastern. Don't forget, $2 Tuesday at WagerTalk.com for the Prez. And don't forget also, I've got a strong 4% best bet in the NBA playoffs finals, game 6. Also a 4% MLB best bet tonight. WagerTalk.com. Back to you, El $2 Presidente.
Thanks so much, Steve. Let's bring in Ralph Michaels. And Ralph, I'm excited, man. It's been a while. You have been so busy. Double penning today. It's actually insane how busy you've been. You've been putting together the college football guide. I want to hear all about it.
You know, guys, 85 pages, and it's free. For those that missed the NFL guide we did a few weeks ago, the college football guide that got released last week, both are free to Gold Sheet. If you just go to goldsheet.com, right on the front page, you'll see the NFL guide, you'll see the college football guide. No email needed, no registration needed, completely free. And Prez, at the start of the year when I start prepping for college football, all the information that I need is what I put in the guide. I basically took my worksheets that I have in front of me for each team, turned it into an easy-to-read presentation broken down by conferences, and I also go back 2 years, and I just want to explain that for 1 second. People get so enamored that some team returns this many starters or did this well. Well, it's very important to know what those teams had going in. Teams like Ohio State, Alabama, and Clemson, they're used to getting so many players drafted. They normally only return 10 or 11 starters. So when you see a team like Alabama, 11 returning starters may be their norm for the last 4 years. Likewise, if you see other teams with fewer or more returning starters than normal, you have to make those adjustments. Returning starters, Kenny White's exclusive 7+ starts for every team. Every new head coach, new OC, new DC. Plus this year I put in my exclusive schedules. It breaks down the schedule. We're going to look at 2 of them in a minute when we talk about win totals. But I'll tell you what, free guide, make sure you start your college football prep by going to goldsheet.com.
Outstanding stuff, Ralph. And let's get into it, man. I can't believe we're this close to college football. I mean, right around the corner. We're going to talk a couple of games quick, and then we're going to do some season win totals. Let's start with September 2nd, Rutgers Temple game. Rutgers minus 13.5. Well, there's high expectations for Rutgers, clearly, coming into the season as a double-digit favorite against a team that was better than them of late. Talk to me. How are we betting this one?
Well, not last year, and Steve and Prez, you guys will both agree with this premise. And I just want to say this. Rule number one, if you're a new handicapper, you normally don't want to lay a lot of points with a bad team, and you want to take points with the good teams. Now, in pro sports, that's very true, because from top to bottom, you maybe have a 13-point difference. College football is a little different. I have a 61-point difference from the number one team in college football, Alabama, to my bottom team, New Mexico State, in my power ratings. So you look at Rutgers and Prez, you said they are expectations are high. Well, I'll tell you what, they really are. The 4 years before Schiano came in, returned as the head coach, they were 3-36 in Big Ten play. Last year, they had 3 Big Ten wins themselves. This year, they returned 20 starters, most in the Big Ten. They have 30 players that made 7 or more career starts. That's the most experienced team in the Big Ten. You have excitement with a legendary head coach, Schiano, back. Recruiting, Rutgers for 7 straight years was the worst recruiting team in the Big Ten, ranging about 65. This year with Schiano back, they are number 42 in the country recruiting. They are higher than Michigan State, Northwestern, Purdue, and Illinois. And when you talk about a team that only went 3-6 and didn't play any non-conference games, they get excited for this type of opponent where they dominate. They're 4-1 in these early season games as a big favorite. They take care of business again. This Rutgers team will finish ahead of Michigan State in the division. They are a very much improved team. And I do like them. Again, Temple is a team that they recruit against. It's very important to get out to a big lead, hold that big lead. But I will say one thing about Temple. While I have them very low in my power ratings with only 13 returning starters, I have 2 arrows up on them as the season progresses. They have a Georgia transfer, Mathis at quarterback, who was the number 3 quarterback out of his recruiting class. They have a Florida transfer at running back. I think I'm going to give you a 2-play on Temple. I think they struggle out of the gate at Rutgers, and then they turn around week 2 at Akron, and I think they blow the doors off the Zips.
Like where you're going with that, Ralph. And of course, in college football, weeks 1 and 2, huge difference because there's no preseason. You're talking about 18, 19-year-old kids that are in limited practice time, especially if we have COVID protocols start to kick in again. Hopefully we won't. We'll see how that plays out. I want to jump to another game, though, and this is an interesting one for me because we have a Louisville team that really was down last year, 4-7, against an Ole Miss team that maybe was just 5-5 straight up. But boy, did they finish strong. And keep in mind, that was Lane Kiffin's first season, of course, at Ole Miss. So obviously a little bit of growing pains. If there's ever a difficult time to bring in a new coach, it was last year, as I just talked about, with limited practice preparation. They started 1-4, I believe, and then went, 5-0 down the stretch. So they were overall 6-4, I guess, when he throwing the bowl win. What do you think of this team going forward? I see them about a 7.5, 8-point favorite over Louisville right now, Ole Miss.
They did lose their regular season ender at LSU, so they did win 4 out of 5. But imagine coming into Lane Kiffin's offense, the pace he had to play, and get your offense and defense into that type of speed mode without any prep. Now, let's remember this game's also Atlanta. So we have Lane Kiffin, a very motivating head coach, saying, guys, this is where the SEC championship gets played. We're playing on Labor Day night in front of the lights by ourselves with every eye on us. We have a Louisville team that has 3 of 4 new defensive starters in the secondary. We have Lane Kiffin, who maybe has the best quarterback in the conference in Matt Corral. Last year, that defense was overwhelmed for the Rebels. With an offense that played and scored so fast, this defense was on the field more than any other defense in college football, only 5 returning starters. This year, they have 9 back. Plus, they're accustomed to playing with that type of speed. You have a second-year system now under Kiffin. And again, a lot of it has to do when you're looking at big favorites early in the preseason, you have to look at how a coach is going to motivate his team, absolutely lays it on and blows this team out. I do like Ole Miss early in the year. They are going to beat Louisville. They're going to beat Austin Peay, and they're going to beat Tulane. They'll have a bye before they play Alabama. Again, I don't have them anywhere near the Alabama range, but a quick 0-3 start will have people excited in Oxford.
Ralph Michaels, everyone. Ralph, so good. I love that we're talking college football. Hopefully you'll come on once a week moving forward. But I know how busy you are. I mean, 85 pages in that college football guide, totally free to everybody. Where do people get it? Where do they find it?
Right on the front page of goldsheet.com. You'll see, again, both the NFL guide and the college football guides listed. You click on a link, you download the PDF, and you have the information on your desktop to start your college football prep. By the way, NFL Hall of Fame game only 16 days away. First game of college football, 39 days.
There you go, everybody. Let's talk some win totals. Toledo. It's 8 or 8.5, depending on what book you're at. Well, that's a lot. Over or under?
It is a lot, but if Joe can show a graphic, I included these schedules for every team. So you are going to see my power rating number, my projected line, what the theoretical win percentages are for every team when you're breaking down the schedule. Take a look where I have Toledo. This Toledo team returns 21 starters, the most in college football. Actually, some people count him as 22 because of a part-time starter. When you break down that schedule, they are a favorite in 10 games. They are a dog in 1 game, and they have a pick 'em at Ball State. When I have a team like Toledo, that's the best team in their conference with the most returning starters, and in 9 games, they're a favorite by 8.8 points or more, there's no question it's my best bet looking at Toledo over. I personally bet the 8. I do see some places with 8.5. I wanted to bring out both numbers. Make sure you shop. If 8.5 is the only number you have, I would play it for 1 unit less. But Toledo, 8 wins, clearly my top college football season win total.
I like that a lot. I mean, it makes a lot of sense. I love that graph. It shows, basically the very winnable in every game, but Notre Dame perhaps. And that seems like a low number to me. And I would be shocked if it doesn't go higher when we speak again in a few weeks or closer to the season. One team, though, has a very high number is Oklahoma Sooners, 11. I think they've made the playoffs now as maybe 4 the last 7 years. They never get it done, but they always make it, and they always run the Big 12 basically. They're the only Big 12 team in the playoff history the last 7 years to make the Final Four. Spencer Rattler right now is the favorite to be the Heisman. We'll see how that plays out, but they always have a lot of power on offense. It's that defense that's always a concern. Looking at the schedule, a very manageable schedule here in neutral field against Texas, a closer week 12 at Oklahoma State obviously could be a big one. What's your thought here on the Sooners? Can they sweep the board? 11, a big number, but they're obviously a powerhouse.
I love looking at big numbers and I love looking at low numbers because people think, 11, how can they do that? Yeah. When people look at ones and how can it be so low? Well, take a look at the schedule, guys. It's very difficult to look through an entire season and try to put down wins and losses when you're not sure what the lines are going to be. Well, look at what my color-coded schedule shows you. There's no team that has an easier schedule based on their talent. Their average line for Oklahoma this year, I have them projected at minus 25 points. In no game do I have them as a single-digit favorite. The next best team clearly in the conference is Iowa State. Guess what? You get them at home on senior day. Oklahoma favored by 11 points or more in every game. I have them going 12-0, winning the Big 12 title and going to the playoffs.
Ralph, Western Carolina, more than 10 touchdowns they're favored, minus 71.5. When was the last time?
Well, that's my projected power. That's my projected power rating number. So that isn't an actual line yet. There are some game of the year lines down, but Prez, even when those lines change, I write these numbers down because it's very important to know what your thoughts were at the beginning of the season. And I would recommend this for anyone betting a win total. So often people go through a schedule, and whenever you have pick'em games, they write down a win. Well, you can't have a win on both sides for pick'em games. So actually physically go through your schedule, marks wins and losses, mark your question marks, those games between the threes, and then pick those best value games where you have the most situations as a favorite of over 3, or if you like the under, the most situations as a dog of 3 or more, or a dog of 7 or more.
Best show ever. Wager Talk Today, everybody. Ralph Michaels, thank you for joining us. Anything to promote?
Nope, I'm going to mention 2 things. Steve, you were talking about the summer days of baseball. I went to the database while you were online. Average line in April, average over-under line since 2014 in MLB action is 8.1. In May, it's 8.2. In July and August, the average total, 8.9 runs per game. So Vegas adjusts by almost 0.8 runs per game when we get to those summer months.
Awesome stuff. Ralph Michaels, everyone. Caden is arguing that Iowa State is going to win, and his logo is Iowa State logo. So that pretty much ended the credibility of Caden's argument. With that said,
Caden's a big Cyclone fan. Loyal viewer of the show, though. We love Caden.
Oh,
Caden,
yeah.
I did say they were the second best team in the Big 12. So,
but Oklahoma gets them at home. Oklahoma gets them at home.
Yeah.
That's a big difference. That's a 7 or 8 point swing right there just on home field. And, that would have been a big difference had it been on the road.
Yeah. But we do love Caden, and he comments every day. Just a great guy. Thank you. But yeah, Ralph says you're wrong, and that means you're probably wrong. Ralph, get out of here, man. Guys, tomorrow's show, I will not be here tomorrow. Steve, I'm picking up the hydrofoil in 3 hours. I'm going up to the cottage tomorrow. Muskoka awaits. I am going to do everything in one day tomorrow. I'm going to water ski. I'm going to wake surf. I'm going to wake board. I'm going to jet ski. And most of all, I'm going to hydrofoil because that's my new thing. Andrew McGinnis joining us tomorrow. We're going to start our Olympics conversation. I could, the Olympics excite the hell out of me. I could care less this year. Let's bring in Dave Sharapan, a man that, the word I could care less comes to mind.
My goodness.
It's about bloody time you're back.
What's up, boys? Flex Tuesday? We still doing Flex Tuesday? Is it still Flex Tuesday? I've been gone for a while.
Dave, it's classic Cat Tuesday. Look what I found for you, Dave Sharapan.
Look at that. The M. Holy, what is that? That's an original?
Yeah, what?
This is a mesh hat, my man. This is mesh.
Wow. You got to be an OG to wear one of those, Merril. That's pretty strong right
there. A storage bag a couple weeks ago. It's from the mid-'80s, and I remembered having it. I couldn't find it for years. I told myself, I've got an old school Mariners. I've got a newer one behind me, actually, from Little League. But you know what? It occurred to me where I got this, Prez. I think I wanted it at a fair, like one of the games or whatever, like in the mid.
Oh, did you make a shot?
Did you make a shot? Threw a ball or shot a clown with a water gun, most likely. So, something like that.
All
right. Just real quick, Dave. Sue, I got you. I see your message. Don't worry, man. It's all taken care of. Just let the show end, and then I'm on it. He knows what I'm talking about. Dave Sharapan, that is some old school freaking outfit, bro. An old school outfit on an old school man.
Mike Schmidt and Steve Carlton combined into one.
Yeah, Mike Schmidt just called. He wants his outfit back.
I'll give it to him after they clinch the wild card or maybe win the division in the NL East. I think this is a team that's live, boys. So I had to, I was back there, went to a game, did all that, but you start to watch what's happening in that division. The other divisions are pretty much not decided, but the playoff spots are all taken. I think the NL East is wide open. I'm not sold on the Mets. I'm just not. DeGrom's hurt. Now Lindor's on the IL. Come on.
When you let in an error, when you make one error after another, get down 6-0 in the first, then win the game, then only to come back a day later and do the exact same nonsense and still win the game, Sounds like the Mets might actually be a really good team. I don't know, man. I'm not with you, bro. DeGrom is going to be a big miss if depending. But I don't know when you start winning games from behind, like the Mets have the last couple of games, I'd be worried. But we're not here to discuss the Mets. We're here to discuss betting. So let's go baseball first. Anything that you have noticed today that we should bet? Any word from any of your contacts? Blah blah blah.
Ralph just tied it up nicely right before us with the overs. The numbers are being adjusted right before our eyes, but not drastically. And then you have a night like last night where you see football scores, 14-0, 17, whatever, 10. I mean, there were some crazy scores last night in baseball. Obviously, the weather started to heat up. I traded a couple texts with Koken last night. He thinks that everybody was using the sticky stuff, and he might be right. I mean, I think it might be the case too. I think you just got to be cautious in the next couple weeks betting unders. It feels like there's going to be a lot of over games, and today's another card where I think it's worth looking at numbers where the juice isn't favored to the over yet, and maybe look to go that way. Baseball betting in general, though, this is a weird 2 weeks. I used to say it in the book all the time. Just get us to the trade deadline, because the have-nots know they're not they're trading their assets, and the haves are trying to make moves to get better. So before it becomes official on the trade deadline, there's a lot of games. Like, it's hard to line games when the Dodgers are playing the Diamondbacks, or the Brewers are playing the Pirates. Good team, bad team. I'd rather do these games where, you got Pirates, Diamondbacks. Games of pick 'em. That's the right line. Just bet under. That one's easy. Dodgers and Giants. The Giants are continually to be dogs every single day. They only have the best record in the National League. They only, have been there for months. Everybody's waiting for them to fall. I don't know. I think, you ride the Giants until they're too big of a favorite. But getting them at a dog price today is another one that I thought, man, that line's just wrong. And then to me, the White Sox look like a little bit of a bargain today. A little bit of a short number where, it's probably going to go up. They're arguably the best team in the American League. At this point in the season, you're looking to lay as little juice as you can, obviously, and find those dogs. But, man, there's still some big mismatches. So a cheap favorite is okay. Even the Phillies, Prez, is another one today. When you're on the run, I saw the show yesterday. You're on the run. You tell me what you like. That's all I need to know, so I can tell the boys in the book.
Sure, brother. It's $2 for today's play, and then tomorrow you have to pay $25, but you can get a deal. There's a coupon code in the $2 package that will allow you to know what I'm playing for a month. As far as giving you my plays for free, as Ross would do in Friends, nobody can see me, so forget about that part. Let's just move on. He did this. Remember that?
By the way, viewers, if you like this back and forth, if you like old school baseball hats, give us a thumbs up. Give us a like. It makes Prez's day. Give him a comment, too. He loves his comments, both in the chat and below in the replay here on YouTube. Dave, you bring up a good point about the teams to be wary of before the trade deadline. I mean, the three I've penciled is kind of Minnesota and Chicago Cubs are the examples, but I think the Marlins also a team that, had the best run differential a week ago in last place in that division. Looks like they might be sellers. And look at all three of those teams. I think they're like 0-7 the last 3 days or something. So got to be very careful with those teams over the next week. But I want to transition, the couple minutes we have left with you, I want to transition over to the NBA Finals Game 6 tonight. You talked about how it's tough to play unders right now in baseball. It's pretty tough to play unders in a NBA Finals as well. And look at that. He's calling for a Game 6 and 7 comeback. You've called for the Phillies to win the division. Are you calling for the Suns now to win the NBA Finals? What are your thoughts on that? And also, more importantly, is the public jumping ship after 3 straight losses?
Man, it's crazy, right? Like, before the series, they're the favorite. They're the betting favorite. They're the betting choice. It's time. They're going to win. Chris Paul's going to win the MVP, and we're good to go. And then they go to Milwaukee. They lose that game 4. They should have won that game. That one hurt. They come back and answer great in game 5. They're going to win that game. No, they're not. Steal at the end by Holiday, dunk by Giannis, and it's over. Now they're 5-point dogs. And the news this morning that Scott Foster is the head official. Chris Paul's 0-12 in games, playoff games, officiated by Scott Foster. I'm putting the Suns hat away. I think it's done. I think it's over. I want to see a Game 7. I love a Game 7 in any sport. And I'm sure the books, everybody wants to see a Game 7, because then we'll have to know, what Prez likes while he's out water skiing and hydrofoiling and all that other stuff that he's going to be doing tomorrow. So I don't know how you make those picks from the water ski thing, but he's going to be able to do it. Anyhow, I don't think you have to worry about picking the NBA Finals. I think the Milwaukee Bucks close it out tonight. The parade is already planned, and now the NBA sent in Foster to officiate. It's over.
Dave, we're on a sports betting show. I could care less if Milwaukee wins the game tonight. Are they covering 5?
I think you got to lay 5, right? Because it's going up. It's probably going to go to 5.5. I don't know, Prez. I don't give away my stuff for free anymore either. How about that? Oh, no, I'm just kidding.
Dave Sharapan, this is your last time on this show. We'd like to thank you for your work and service over the last year. But if you ain't coming on here and giving out the goods, you ain't coming on here, brother.
All right.
What? So I'm hearing lay the 5, right?
Yeah, I wouldn't. I certainly wouldn't take the 5. I just think you're going to be able to get a much better price in game. So if you like the Suns, I think you got to wait.
That's
I don't think
point.
Yeah, anyone looking to play this game pregame is not taking 5. They're waiting. Go ahead.
It's such a good point, Dave, because we saw Phoenix come out big time in the first quarter of the last game. And I think we're going to see Phoenix come out on fire again. So you're right. I think you're going to get Milwaukee at a better number somewhere in the middle of that game. Dave, let's talk Olympics for a second. Do you bet on it? What do the books do? How the hell do they come up with lines? I'm baffled. Andrew McGinnis joining us tomorrow. He's going to be handicapping the Olympics. Same with Tony Mejia. I don't have a clue where to even begin.
It's so weird because it's only happened, a few times while I've been behind the counter, and I say it all the time. It's a blip on the radar as far as betting, and now it's going to get more interest or more notoriety because there's more books and there's more outlets to talk about it. But on the actual, amount of money that's bet on it, it's minimal. If the games aren't competitive, it's minimal. Nobody knows who the weightlifter is from the Ukraine, and he's the gold medal favorite or whomever. So you don't see odds on a lot of this stuff. It's impossible to make odds for a lot of the track and field events and all the things that are on TV. I think you see team sport betting. There's interest in the basketball, obviously. I think there'll be interest in some of the other team sports. The other challenge with it, Prez, is the time difference. It's on in the middle of the night in most of the places where we are watching it, and nobody wants to bet it and stay awake or find a stream or whatever. So without the actual ability to watch it, we don't get nearly as much action as maybe you would like. But I don't know. I'd be interested to see what the boys have to say about it tomorrow. I think there's a lot of market if you specialize in something. But if you tell me you got an archery pick or something like that, I'll be really impressed because I don't think anybody really knows anything as far as most of these Olympic sports.
Hey, Dave, you bring up a great point real quick about the time difference. I think that's a killer for the Olympic betting this year. It's a huge difference if it's in the Northern Hemisphere. Even Brazil was only a few hours off. Let me ask you real quick on the way out here. From the bookmakers you've talked to over the years when you were involved with this, how do you guys handicap this? Do you assign somebody to dig into track and field for a couple of weeks? Because like you said, it's almost the juice ain't worth the squeeze almost for the amount of man hours probably to put lines up for such little handle. How do you guys go about setting lines for these?
Most of the time, it's just like the guys that I've talked to. I talked to a couple of guys last week. I'm like, what are you guys doing for the Olympics? And they're like, hopefully not much. So I think it's more of a choice of not putting it up and putting up as minimum as possible. I think you'll see that. And then, leave it to a lot of the Eurobook guys. I mean, they've probably been doing it a lot longer.
Right.
And,
Great point.
just follow along with the books.
Copy and paste, right?
That's probably what most of them are going to do, if they do anything at all. I know it used to be a meeting every year. Like, how much do you think we're going to win? Well, not much. Well, how much could we lose? Well, if the right things happen, we could lose a lot. All right, just don't put it up. So you see just the team sports and just like maybe semifinals and finals and stuff. You don't see everything. So pretty much an easy decision. Don't do it.
Dave Sharapan, everyone. Dave, we got to get going. It's the penalty box segment time. Can't thank you enough for coming back, man. You're good now for Tuesdays moving forward?
Yeah, I hope so. We got a lot of things going on, but I leave Tuesdays open for you guys. School starts in a couple weeks. Hopefully I'll be back to a regular routine then and staying in Vegas for a little while.
What classes
Yeah,
you take?
if you need any help with long division, do not ask me. I try to help my kid with it. Yeah,
I ain't asking you for school.
Prez is awful
I'll
with
ask
math.
Merril
He's a pro
for school
handicapper,
advice.
but he's bad with math. He's not good with math. Don't ask.
No, I'm great with math. I just don't know how to do long division manually anymore.
Hey,
That's
have
all.
fun
I
tomorrow,
have Excel
Prez.
sheets.
Post some pictures of you out on the jet ski or on some boat or some crap, in some nice.
Oh, you know I
Post
am,
picture.
Dave.
He's doing the Olympics
I
in one
sent
day
you
tomorrow, Dave. He's doing like 5 Olympic sports on the water tomorrow. I'm so impressed.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. It's
Later,
going to be
boy.
intense. Take care, buddy. Let's go. Penalty box segment time. Yeah, we're all dancing to that wonderful song. Shout out to everybody for joining us at Wager Talk Today. If you guys are watching this on Twitter, make sure to check out Wager Talk Today up on our YouTube channel, Wager Talk TV. Awesome show. Ronald Cabang came on. Ralph Michaels with college football. And, of course, Dave Sharapan was with us. I want to give a huge shout out to Marco D'Angelo. Yesterday, he came on Wager Talk Today. Picked every single thing correct and won his 5% play yesterday as well. It's $2 Tuesdays at SportsMemo. Ronald Cabang on an 8-1 NBA run has your NBA play for tonight. It's only $2, and it's $2 Tuesday at Wager Talk as well. I am the $2 handicapper. I'm on an 18-4 run, and I got your baseball play going for tonight. As for your free picks, well, I got 3 for you guys, and let's start with the Jays and the Red Sox over 11.5. Big number. I get it. But listen, we got 2 of the best offenses in baseball. We got not a lot of great pitching on the mound to start the game, and we got 2 taxed bullpens. So I think we're going to get this game over the total of 11.5, and I think we're going to get 13 or more runs. White Sox, that was my loss yesterday. I had them -1.5 in the first game, but they ended up getting -1.5 in the second game. They've lost 1 and won 1 against Minnesota. I think they get it done today at -140. And I like the Tampa Bay Rays -1.5. So there you go. Those are my plays. Steve Merril, I'm going to get a Southern fried chicken sandwich in about 10 minutes. Take us home.
You always make me unbelievably hungry with your smoked meats and a dead serious. Man, unbelievable. I love it. Prez, enjoy your day off tomorrow, your water aquatics Olympics. I'm looking forward to seeing some pictures and posts. And Rob Vino will be joining me tomorrow on Wednesday right here on Wager Talk Today, noon Eastern, 9 a.m. Pacific, as always on Wager Talk TV. Special thank you to Ronald Cabang for joining us, $2 Tuesday at sportsmemo.com. The Prez, $2 Tuesday at wagertalk.com. Of course, Dave Sharapan joining us from the Vegas Strip. And we also had a nice little visit from the pen, the one and only Ralph Michaels with the college football preview. Of Great show today. Be sure to like, subscribe to WagerTalk TV, and most importantly, leave us some comments below on YouTube. And we'll be back tomorrow, Wednesday, noon Eastern, 9 a.m. Pacific, right here on WagerTalk TV. Good luck.
How much do you want to pay for the NFL and college football season? You decide how much you want to save. Right now, WagerTalk is offering their lowest price for the 2021 NFL and college football seasons. From now through the start of the regular season, we are offering special early bird pricing, but these prices will increase by $20 per sport and $30 for the college football and NFL combo every week until the season kicks off. Save up to $200 this week by buying your favorite WagerTalk capper for the package, and remember, the longer you wait, the less you save.